Monday. Happy Monday. It is, what's today's date? The 8th? It's the 8th? Is it the 8th? Yes, it's the 8th. Happy Monday, everybody. It's good to be back. Hopefully you've seen my channel before. If you haven't, hi, my name is Leah, aka Pretty Radical. And this is Mobility Monday. On Mondays, I do a mobility routine. Sometimes it's repetitive of what I've done in the past, but usually I add in different exercises. I just kind of try them out to see, what works, new things, if I learn something or if I'm ready to move to the next step. And the goal is not only to build a routine for myself that's going to maintain or progress my health status, but also to hopefully bring in others that have the same goal, to kind of motivate each other and build a community around these sort of organic ways to explore health and exercises that are obviously going to be beneficial for your life forever. Because in my mind, what I'm seeing and what I've seen is like there's these really old people, right? And they're doing these crazy things, like they're doing like 100 pull-ups, or they're doing like crazy handstands in weird places, and they're like 70, more than 70, they're like 80 something years old, right? And it's always like, wow, you're an old person and you can do those things, that's amazing. But like when you look back at their lives, like they just never stopped doing those things, right? It's not like they turned 75 and they're like, you know what, now's the time to learn how to do pull-ups. It's like they were somewhere and they maintained it, or they progressed until they couldn't anymore. And some people, their prime is like for like way further in life. Like if you think about like certain athletes, like being a teenager isn't necessarily your prime when you're playing a professional sport, right? Like your body's not even ready for that. So basically in my head, long term, these sorts of exercises and philosophies that I'm building or have built are going to be something that you can keep and adapt or maintain until you're so old you can't do nothing anyway. But that's my goal, is to be able to do these things and not have to feel like it's extra work. And when I first started doing these streams, I was definitely one of those people who had completely fallen into a rut. Like I had all of these really bad, like life-changing things happen to me, like back to back to back, back to back, to back, to back, to front to back, all of that, right? And it was just hard. Like I was looking at my life and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so far away from who I used to be. Like, as sad as that sounds, right? Like I'm just thinking, like I used to do these sorts of activities, I used to go to these places, like I used to have so much more excitement for things that I'm now just like, meh, And so one first step was recognizing that, right? Because I was like that for a while, I had no idea. So thankfully I was able to recognize that for myself. But then once I recognized it, I just said, okay, like I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm just gonna like hop into it. Which is what most people do, right? So I bought a gym membership for LA Fitness, and I started going to the spa every day, and because I have like a flagship, it's like fancy, but sitting in the sauna, and then like obviously they have like the machines and all those things that you can use. But when I was there, I realized like outside of going to the sauna, like I wasn't really comfortable being in the gym. And it wasn't because my body, like I was ashamed of my body or anything. It was just like having the confidence in my body's ability, right? Like I know I can like sit down and like, do a curl or whatever, but like if my alignment isn't right, or I'm not trying to sit in the gym and be like, like that to me was like too much to bear, as far as like I just felt like I didn't need to be there, because the things I was working on, like I could do at home, because I was starting like at ground zero in my eyes. So yeah, I basically started doing things at home, which is what you see now. And my idea was that this sort of online streaming exercise kind of warm up stuff goes in tandem or mixes with the activities that you want to do or already do. Okay. So let's say you want to like play basketball on the weekends with your friends, like, or maybe you're doing like a turkey bowl for Thanksgiving or something like that. Like, doing these exercises will help to make sure you're ready for those things. You know your body, you know what it's communicating to you, so you don't end up in a situation where you bend down too far or you spread your legs too wide and you get injured, right? So with these exercises, we know what our body's doing, we know how to check in with our body, we know when our body's warning us before something's too far gone. And I feel like that's what usually happens when people injure things. Like they get overconfident, or they don't recognize a certain movement as a warning. You know, they don't know how to listen to their bodies. So yeah, this is really that. Sundays is for stretching. And I like to start Sundays with stretching because stretching is the foundation from everything else. It's part of alignment check. So if your alignment's off, or if you're not, you don't have range in any way, you're not going to be able to, like, even stand up in a lot of cases. I think about like animals when they're first born, they're like, because they just haven't even put it all together yet. Yeah. Mondays, obviously, we're here, mobility. So I kind of build off of what I was already doing from Monday's stretching. It's what I'm doing right now. It's basically making sure that my body is safe to move on. Because I spent an hour stretching yesterday, 11 on the clock. Because I spent an hour stretching yesterday, I don't need to go as long or intense for these stretches. But same thing, like if I'm stretching and I notice that there's something tight, or maybe I slept wrong this morning, I woke up on the wrong pillow. Like, you have certain pillows you sleep on and certain pillows that are just there for looks. I slept on the pillow that's just for looks, and it's super stiff. It's like one of those pillows that you use to like prop your back up with like an armrest. And so my whole neck was super tight, right? So like that was something I had to like actually focus on. When I woke up this morning, I had to like literally lay and like wait until my neck loosened up a bit. And it still doesn't have the same range as this side. If I turn this way versus this way, I can't go as far to that side without it like bothering me. But that's a way that, check in with our body, recognize something. Don't just go, oh, my neck hurts, and then be like, whatever, and keep going on about your day. Just like figure out why it hurts. So, like I said, mine was because I slept wrong on a pillow, and then, reverse it, which in this case was to just stretch it the other way. Sometimes it's something you can fix because you know what it is. Sometimes it's not. Another one, people get like low back pain from sitting a lot. So obviously identifying where it comes from. Sitting a lot, so doing something that's going to put your posture in a different stance, or mobilize in areas that will help loosen the tension. I feel like I've been bumping my gums for a minute now. I'm trying to feed my dog. She's still not really eating. I don't know if you can tell she's skinnier. She's lost like at least a whole pound. Yeah. Senior puppy. But yeah, she's eating like, I don't know. I've been giving her like the most fancy food. I made her an entire pot roast. And when I say made her a pot roast, I mean it was a pot roast I bought for myself that I made for her instead. And like the first day she ate it, the second day she ate like half, like bowl-wise, and then after that she like wouldn't eat it all. And when I say ate it, I mean like she had one bowl and a half total of all the pot roast. And I crock potted the pot roast for like a day. Kind of looked like she was gonna eat the chicken. So basically, you know those like rotisserie chickens that you get at the grocery store? I like pulled apart one of the legs and like, you know, it's the best part of the chicken in my opinion is the freaking leg. So I gave her my favorite part, and it's been sitting there for almost an hour, and now she's actually eating it. So, oh, every time she eats something, it just makes me like that much happier. Because I'm the same way. I mean, if you've been following me, you know, like, I will not eat. Not because I, like, am trying not to eat, but just because I completely forget. And then the way I find out, my body is like, I don't get, like, stomach pains. Like, you know, my stomach doesn't really growl. Sometimes it does. But not really. I don't get, like, stomach pains when I'm hungry. I get lightheaded. And I'm like, well, now I can't even make myself food because I can't move. Yeah, there's been times, like, I had to delete DoorDash because, like, mentally my body was like, okay, you know what, like, we can just DoorDash and then all you have to do is walk down the stairs. All you have to do is pay, like, 5 times the price it's worth, and then, you know, you can eat. I'm trying to, like, pull this romper down without my titties hanging out. Alright, so I'm gonna do this one, you know, the lifts. I really liked this one last time, and it's a hip opener. So if you don't know what I'm doing, just know that I don't have much flexibility in my hip, and it may look like I'm completely flat on the ground, but I'm actually, like my center, like, belly button is as far down as my stomach goes. So it's not like my stomach is completely flat on the ground, if that makes sense. I'm not completely flat. I am raised by my knees. So don't think you have to get completely flat to do this. But when you get into this position, you'll know you're in the right spot because you'll be able to actually lift your leg. If you can't lift your leg, then, you know. And I don't mean lift it all the way up like I'm doing, but just like to be able to get it off the ground. Like, you'll know. If you're in the right spot, you'll be able to do it. Again, I have really tight hips. So if you've been following me, you know that. I'll do more hip exercises. I'll do more hip exercises today as well. Ooh. This one feels kind of nice. Okay, I'm gonna also, so my title today was Be Like Water, because I found this, like, samurai, like, mix, and I was thinking since mobility sometimes feels like ninja moves, like, or, like, you know, slow, kind of like, if we want it to be that way, right? I was kind of going with that for the vibe today. Oh, yeah. So that's the vibe I wanted to be on. It's a little cloudy here. But it is Monday, so I have, like, all my errands I need to do. Trash and recycle day, and a few groceries, and I don't know, I have, like, a list of things. Oh, I gotta go to Costco today. I gotta get gas. I'm out of eggs. I don't know why. I mean, I know we had that, like, egg shortage, right, in America, where it was, like, hard to get eggs for a while. But you can literally get, like, twice as many eggs at Costco for the price of, more than twice as many, like 3 times as many eggs at Costco for the same price, or 12 in the Safeway down the street. And that's the cheapest grocery store that I live. Like, every other grocery store, we have, like, Whole Foods, like, PCC, like, they're very, like, yeah, anyway. Eggs are way cheaper at Costco, so I will literally have to go to Costco just for eggs, which is dangerous AF, because going into Costco in general, every time I go to Costco, man, I don't think you can leave Costco without spending at least $150. And that's not even an exaggeration, because, like,
if you spend $10 on something, that's cheap, right? Like $10, oh, like it's a big serving of something. That's not expensive. But you get 10 things, and all of a sudden, you're out of the world, right? Like it just goes up. It doesn't seem like a lot, because if you go to like Safeway and you get 10 things, nah, that's nuts. So you go to Safeway and get 10 things, you probably would still pay $100. Because these grocery stores are raping us. Sorry, I didn't mean to say the R word. But it's true.
The grocery stores are taking advantage to the point where it's literally cheaper to go to Costco. Like, since when? For basic things, not like bulk. Like eggs, bruh. Eggs. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I feel like I need to come down a little bit more on this one. But I'm just gonna hold. I'm gonna hold here.
This is what I mean by my hips not being as flexible. So if you see how high off the ground I am, that's what I was doing
Down here and then lifting. Right? But I just slid my chest further up, further forward, so that way I was able to go down lower.
But yeah, this is what my hips are capable of when I'm just like actually only focusing on this, which is not good. And I'm not saying that to like make anybody feel bad about their range, but just in reality, like as far as mobility is concerned, you should be able to make your legs go further than this. Yeah, I always say like revert back to what your body was capable of when you were like 10 years old or maybe like 15 years old, and if you're not at least in that spot, your body's not the range it should be. It's not when we're our most flexible, but it's also like a good measure of like, I remember when I used to be able to do that, right? It's like, I know my body can do it because I've seen it, rather than being like, oh, I've never been able to do that, so I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. It's like, no, I remember. So I know my body's built for this. Like, I know my bones and everything are, functioning. And it's just tapping back in and then recognizing that you have to maintain that. And if you're not maintaining it, then getting back to that point and then maintaining it there. Don't just settle for a new normal that's worse than where you were before. Because that's how it gets worse and worse and worse. Okay. My hips feel really tight, so I'm going to do more hip stretches. I think I said this yesterday anyway. I was like, I want to focus on hips. Look at she's stretching. She's so cute. Alright, so I'm going to come up into this, buddy. Just get my hips a little more settled in. This was one of those stretches that I could not do for longer than like 5 seconds when I first started streaming. I wish I had my videos from back then, because it was bad. I feel like even now, like, people are like, oh, you can already do this. It's like, bro, like, if you saw my videos, like, sitting like this, like, first of all, coming down into this position was not comfortable. I was like, see, I just popped up into it. I could not do that before. And then on top of that, holding it was, like, damn near impossible. My butt's lower, like, I was, like, all the way up here, and I was like, whoa, like, it was bad. So being in this position right now is growth for me, and if you're already past this, stay here with that energy. If you're not in this position yet, or able to have this range yet, just know that it's possible. And I have proof. If you want to go up here, I will throw you. Okay, let one leg out. This is same stretch as yesterday as far as moving into the range, but the mobility part comes from doing the gliding back and forth. So left side, center, right side, center, left side, center, right? But it becomes sort of a fluid motion once you've settled into each stretch specifically. And that's how I build all of the mobility exercises, is just checking in with the stretch first, and then looking at what I can progress from the first stretch or where I want to go and then working backwards. So yeah, pretty much all of my mobility exercises are built around flowing with a specific stretch from our Sunday stretching. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wear this top again. It's a really cute romper, but as far as doing streaming for it, like every time I come down, it's like sliding down. I feel like I don't want you to think that I did that on purpose, because I didn't. It's not. I've never worn this on stream. I've never worn this on stream. I thought it was cute though. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like, I think like rompers have like, they can go either way. Like, I think they can look like really ghetto, like really trashy, or they can look like sleek, like, you know, you could be going to the ski resort, or you could be like walking down Figueroa, right? It just depends on how you do it and what the fabric is, all that, right? So I feel like in this case, because it's got like flare legs, it's not like as tight and like, you know, like va va voom, look at all my curves. So that's why I liked it. And then also because it is a romper, like I don't have to worry about like, pulling my shirt down or like checking my wedgie or anything like that, because it's all connected like suspenders, you know, it just kind of keeps itself there. It's like overalls, but like tight, you know. Who doesn't like overalls? Like, even though they're ugly, they're comfortable, right? Even when they're ugly, they're comfortable. So yeah, basically, don't hate on my romper. I don't have any other rompers like this. I do have like an airport romper that I wear because it's the airport, you know. I'll just like put on shorts and a tank top and then put the romper over it so you're warm on the plane and you don't have to worry about like your back or anything touching the seats. And then when you get off the plane, you just pull the romper off and you're like, woo, warm weather! Everything's great. And everything is great. Now I want to go on vacation, Zoe. Alright. Moving through. Start off slow. You don't have to go fast, but usually my body naturally tries to match the tempo of the music. So if you notice that happening, that's why. You don't have to do that if you're not ready. Okay, that felt really nice on my hips. Inside. And now I want to do some outside hip work. I feel like I came up with something really good last week and I forgot already. That one might be a little harder to do if you have not as much strength in your upper body. I definitely did that with one hand. I wasn't thinking about it. So when you think about a modification, what I'm doing, let me tell you what I'm doing first. So I'm trying to get my hips to stretch out on the outsides. So I am dipping down. I'm holding my weight up with my arm. So it is locked out. Like I'm not like bending it and doing it. Like it's completely locked out and I'm stacked. So if you recognize alignment, you know how that works. there's not really as much weight on this arm as you think there would be because it's bone stacking. So now that my arm is straight, I can pull my legs out enough to straighten out my torso, and then when I drop my hip, this side is now stretched out more. So let me see. I guess if you wanted to use two arms, you could, but my torso is kind of like twisting in. Let me see what that looks like on this side. Close the door. Kind of works. It kind of works, but it feels a little wonky. I don't know if that's safe, so maybe don't listen to me for that one. Twisting and going down might not be the best idea, but it does feel nice on my hips in particular. So do with that information what you will. I'm gonna come up this way, give my body a break. Once again, finding a stack here, so shoulders over wrists, and hopefully the legs are also stacked over hips over knees. Also, something I've been trying to remember, for me specifically, because my hands are never distributing weight evenly, and I just figured that out in my old age. I don't know how long it's been like that, or if it's a new thing, but I just noticed in particular that I do not have an even weight distribution on my hands. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not just like rolling my shoulders around, which you can do if you need to move your shoulders, but I am focusing on how my weight is distributed in my fingers and like my wrist moves and everything. Because again, that was just something that I learned from doing these handstands, and I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I can't balance. I'm only using like a quarter of my actual hand to like rest all of my weight, and it's not even even. Right? And that has a trickle down effect as well. Like maybe you're not doing handstands for oh jeez. Okay, lifting the wrists after just doing that is either helpful or dangerous. So I felt like a sharp pain when I did that. Ooh. I know this is what you're supposed to do, so I think I just don't have, as like I said, I have like no range, and my fingers are not very mobile, which is crazy. You think this is what mobility for your fingers are. Now, can your fingers evenly plant? Are you distributing the weight evenly? Like, is your pinky catching the same amount of weight as your middle finger, as your pointer finger? Because again, for me, it was like all of my weight was basically not even in my phalanges at all. Like I said, I didn't even use those. I'm not gonna lie. No, I don't think my phalanges have been used for anything other than when I'm physically grabbing something. But yeah, I just learned that. So I'm like, okay, I should incorporate my actual hands when I'm trying to balance. This is painful for me. I'm only leaning forward a little bit. Oh. That is workout. Like, I know it doesn't look like anything, and that's why I was saying that, but my hands are on fire right now. on each side. Still focusing on keeping my fingers engaged as well. I was gonna go back down, if that feels like work, so I'm gonna come up first, and then I'll do the opposite leg. My arms are just tired of being on the ground that long. I was basically doing push-ups the whole time. And I need to give my upper body a break as well, not just switching between sides. So if you are wondering what I'm doing right now, I am utilizing my break time. My bone pops right as I say break. I'm utilizing my break resting period from my arms to engage something else. Right now I'm engaging my core and I am stretching out my back. This is a common move that you need to do in real life. So think about, like, maybe you're taking stuff out of a car, so you go grab something and you lift it up, right? Grab something, you lift it up, grab something, lift it up, grab something, lift it up, right? So just making sure you have that spine rotation. The higher you bring your arms, the higher you're going to feel the mobility moving through the mobility. How do I say this? Pressure will move through your spine based off of where your hands are located. So put my hands all the way down here. Now I can feel my lower back is really engaged. I feel my lower back getting a benefit from this the most. Doesn't mean the rest of my body is not feeling it, but I just feel it the most in my lower back. If I bring my hands all the way to my shoulders, I'm feeling it now in my shoulders, like lumbar, thoracic region. Also, for this one, you might notice I kind of like to swing instead of just rotating, and that's because it does feel like I'm getting the chance to bring my arms all the way out when they're expanded like this. So kind of stretching all the way back through my traps as well, like all the way through here. But also just thinking about the mobility range that you would need in real life, right? Like there's a good chance you're going to have to grab something and chuck it, right? Like maybe, you're throwing something in the trash, right? And you have to like chuck it up into the trash can. I don't know, I'm thinking about like going camping or something where you have to like clean after yourself, but it's like one of those industrial trash cans where like you can't even really reach it. You just have to trust that when you throw it over, like there's no raccoons in there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Even just throwing something in general, throwing a punch, right? When you throw a punch though, you don't want to like lead with your hand. Lead with your shoulder. I think that's what I do. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gotten into a fight in a very long time. Like since like elementary school, I think people just always saw the threat and they were like, I'm not going there. Which I'm fine with. Okay, stretched out. I was also doing these yesterday on my TikTok. If you watch my TikTok, if you follow my TikTok, I do handstands on my TikTok. And so my shoulders and my arms are always needing like extra attention. But I try to do those things on my TikTok so that people can kind of see my progress. Although I don't do those hand wrist things, which I think mostly because it would look boring on TikTok. But this one I was doing, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? And it was feeling so good. I was like, oh my gosh, something so simple. Like we don't even think about, but like doing this, especially if you don't do it often, like I can feel it like back all the way from my elbow all the way down. And it's like something we take for granted that we can do whenever we want to. I never do this. And I started doing this, like I said, just recently. I'm like, oh my gosh, like the things we take for granted. So what I was saying when you do this one is to focus on keeping your torso facing forward as much as you can, and then literally just like stretching. You don't want to like collapse into yourself. You don't want to pull your hip out. You want to stay as square as you can, and that because that gives you a center point for your body to pull from. Like if there's like there's difference like wringing a towel out with your hands and like pulling it on like a rope or something, right? Like you're gonna be able to squeeze it that way, but like you're really gonna be able to get in there when you like get in the middle and like twist. So that's kind of what this is. Like getting in the middle is here, and then we're pulling upper. I don't know. I always think about pulling my armpit away from my belly button. I don't know why I say belly button, but that just makes more sense to me than hip. Because when I think about pulling my hip down, it's like, I don't know, it's hard. When I think about my belly button, it's like, ooh, okay. Maybe that's why I can't do a handstand. All right, back to the ground. This is the opposite leg. Woo. Butt cheeks on that one feel nice. Butt cheeks on that one feel nice. Okay, are my arms strong enough to move into another one? Ah, dude, jeez. The alignment is real. I think y'all heard that one. I'm gonna go into this one, I guess. My body's like, do it. So, 10 on each side. And then I'll add in a progression for the mobility routine. From this one I'll build off, and then I think I'll move into the final one. I don't know what time it is right now. 38, 37. Oh, booty, 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 rocking everywhere. What do you want from me? I know you ate your chicken. I'm so happy you ate your chicken. I'll give you some more. I'll give you some more soon. Okay, took a little break. Okay, my arms are once again feeling tired. I think this is because I've been doing handstands. I hope it's not another warning, something to come. It just feels like, yeah, it just feels like I've been using my shoulders and arms a lot. So even though normally I would come up here, kick, straighten, bring it down, I think I'm just gonna do like 10 on each side
because my arms are tired. And then I might not add from this one. Switching sides.
Okay, that was at least 10 on each side. I'm gonna move to my back, and then I might pop back up on my arms, but I need to give them a break, so that's what I'm gonna do.
This really helps with your outside, like the outside of your foot. If you're wondering. Okay. For this one, I'm focusing on keeping my back as flat on the ground as possible. My back has a curve. I try not to say it lordosis, but if you know what that is, basically the space right above my my butt crack, you know, all the way up, like my waistline, doesn't hit the ground like it should, which is just about alignment, nothing else. So I don't have to make a conscious effort to push, like I literally have to push my lower back into the ground so that my spine gets used to being actually aligned and not like that, you know. So when you see me do this, just know that you should be focusing on keeping your back as flat on the ground as possible. It's not so much about moving your legs, although that is the mobility part. Holding your back flat to the ground is what's going to stabilize and keep your alignment right, so that when you do the legs, you're getting the proper motion and mobility, and you're not just like coming up with a substitute for, you know, the actual range you need. So checking in with my back to make sure it's flat here first. It's flat now. I'll bring up both. Check in to make sure they're both flat. And then slowly bring the opposite leg down. I can feel my back stayed flat during that time, so I don't have to hold as much or as long on my opposite side. So now I'm going to bring my left leg back up. Again, check in to make sure my spine is flat, and then drop the opposite leg down. Hold until it feels comfortable, and then bring up the opposite leg. Check in with your back. Release the opposite leg. Keeping conscious awareness of your back, and then bring up the opposite leg. Down, and then hopefully you get the idea. Once you notice you're able to move through this without your back completely popping off the ground, you can move faster. Into Happy Baby. I did this one yesterday, but I didn't really move around a lot in it. So now that I've checked in with my back mobility and keeping it flat a little bit more than I did yesterday, I am still focusing on keeping my back flat while I'm doing this, but I'm giving myself range, moving back and forth, side to side,
however you have the range to do. I try to do like a full circle, you know, but I don't have as much range going front to back as I should. Also, focusing on keeping my hips open while I'm doing this, so I am using my elbows to push into the center pits of my knee, which feels really nice because I'm laying on my back, so I know my back is flat. Everything else is just based off of the pressure I can put on myself and on my knees through my elbows. So yeah, rolling around like this, rolling around like this. It's about mobility in the spine as well as your hips. And I feel this in my lower back right now a lot. It feels nice. Maybe everything is affecting my lower back right now. I just noticed it. That was not planned. Ugh. There's a dog under my butt though. I did not know she was there, so no wonder that wasn't planned. The universe was trying to save me to save her. Okay, I have only about 5 minutes left, and I still have not done the routine mobility exercise that I started Mobility Mondays with. If you've been here before, you already know this is something I do every Mobility Monday. It started with stretches that were really, really hard for me, and then turned into the routine that I have now. It is something that I work up to, and it is my philosophy in action as far as building from stretches to create flows for your mobility. And like I already said, this is my first time wearing this top, this romper on stream, and it is sliding down. I'm not gonna go get a shirt, and I'm gonna do that right now. By the time I get back downstairs, the stream will already be done. But I might end up turning a different direction. That way, if there's a nip slip, it's not on camera, which may impact the view if you don't know what I'm doing. But I'm gonna do it now, and then we'll see how many I can crank out before needing to adjust the angle. Check for the nip slip. Okay, let's go ahead and call that the end of Mobility Monday. It is noon here in the Pacific Northwest, United States of America, and it is this 8th of September. The sun is starting to come out. It's not as cloudy as it was. Like I said, I've got a bunch of errands I need to run today, and now I feel like my body is juiced. I can feel where my cells and Bursa. Something about Bursa in my hand. The Bursa oxygen. I feel it. I feel it in my spine. I feel it in my arms. I feel it in my butt and my hips. And that's enough for me to feel like I don't need to go hop back in the bed and take an afternoon nap, which is goals. Alright, everybody, thank you for being here. I will see you on Thursday for more Body Things Thursday. Hopefully, if not, I'll see you on Sunday.